Okay, so what if your letter needs a diagonal line, right? I left that off my first video. So you're going to want to use graphing form of a line. You might know it as y minus y1. This isn't going to come out very good in here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It's basically just like our parabolas and every other parent graph we've done, where the point we want it to go through is x1, y1, and m is our slope. So let's say I want to make a diagonal line. I want it to go from, let's make it kind of easy. I want it to go from -1, 0, and then I want it to have a slope of 2, right? So y minus, it was 0. I should move it up. Let's make it 1 equals 2 times x. Remember, it's Desmos, so you can just play with it. I want it to go through -1, so +1. Okay, so look what happened here. It goes through my locator point at -1, +1. Well, if I could click on it carefully, trust me when I say it goes through -1, +1. Because opposite of +1 is -1, and opposite of -1 is +1. So it's going to go through -1, 1. Whatever numbers you put, remember when it's in parentheses, it's opposite. So it's going to go through that point. Now, I don't want it to go on forever. Maybe I want to stop it at -1 for the x value, -1 less than x. And maybe I only want it to go, it disappears while you're still typing. Maybe I only want it to go to 2. Oops, I went outside the braces. So now I have a diagonal line. Probably going to need a parallel one, right? Let's just pretend this is the diagonal line in an N. So one thing you can do, highlight, Control C to copy that equation, Control V to paste it down here. Now you can see I've got two of the same ones. I want to move it down. Let's just move it down 1. Okay, down. That's the y value, right? Right now my thing says -1, which puts it at +1. If I want to move it down 1, plus you can guess and check because it's on Desmos, I can just put a 0 there. That's not very big for block lettering, is it? Good thing I'm using Desmos so I can guess and check. What if I put a +1 there? That's a better gap. Now I can see there's more space between those. I already have my restriction because I copy and pasted. So if I wanted to connect those lines just to make something out of this, that is at x equals -1. And I only want it to go between -1 less than y less than 1. And I would be able to connect that piece right there. So diagonal lines, you want to use graphing form, or point slope form is what it's called. And whatever point you want it to go through, you're going to have to make it opposite when you put it in this equation. And then you still restrict the domain the same way. Also, you could restrict the range if you thought that was more helpful. Let me turn these off. Maybe I wanted it, maybe I don't know the x values, but I know the lowest y value I want it to hit is 0. So 0 less than y. And maybe the highest y value I want it to hit is 5. So less than 5. So you can choose, every time you can choose if you want to restrict the domain or the range instead. So this is how you make slanted lines. So horizontal, vertical, and now slanted, that should be everything you need.